This video is about Mojtaba. That's right, the supreme leader, Moshe Khamenei, the supreme leader who no one has seen since day one of the war. There was a lot of speculation that he's dead. I've speculated that. I don't know. A lot of the intelligence people now are coming out saying, no, he's alive. How functional he is a matter of speculation and debate. I have been saying for the last few weeks, I wrote about it in my last column in the Jerusalem Post, that I believe that what the Americans should do is demand verified proof of life, or they will not negotiate at all. They're not doing that, but I think it would be a very effective move. Wouldn't cost them anything, wouldn't cost a single missile or drone or soldier, and it would do tremendous damage to the stability of the regime. But the Americans are not taking the steps necessary to destabilize the regime. That is not their stated goal, and that's why we're in this extended stalemate. But I digress. This video is about Mojtaba because there's a recent story that came out in the Times of London that everyone's talking about, and I'm going to expand on it and talk about the Iranian reaction and what they're saying. It's all very strange. Let's just get right to it. Here we go. Hasn't used a phone, computer for over 150 days. The Mossad and CIA's complex hunt for Mojtaba Khamenei. The hunt for Mojtaba Khamenei, though it is not being discussed publicly, is occupying a significant amount of time of both the Mossad and the CIA. Britain's The Times reported. The newspaper has described how the two intelligence agencies are trying, both jointly and separately, to trace the whereabouts of Iran's new supreme leader, who has not been seen in public since the assassination of his father at the end of February, an attack in which he himself was also wounded. The Times noted that the silence surrounding Mojtaba constitutes the greatest challenge for Israel and the U.S. in their efforts to locate him. The newspaper claimed that it appears the younger Khamenei has not picked up a phone or opened a laptop for more than 150 days. He's staying inside an underground bunker, and his face is disfigured because of the injuries he sustained in the airstrike in which his father was killed. He's afraid to leave the bunker during the daylight hours out of concern that he will be identified by an American spy satellite. That's the claim made in the Times. The report said that in order to locate the elder Khamenei before his assassination, Israel and the U.S. used every possible cyber trick, including hacking traffic cameras across Tehran, to identify the vehicles used by Khamenei's bodyguards and aides. This enabled the American NSA and Israel's Unit 8200 to know where Khamenei and the other senior officials were on February 28th to carry out their assassinations. However, unlike the breaches and slip-ups that made it possible to locate the father, in the effort to locate Mojtaba, the Israeli and American intelligence are forced to rely on human intelligence from spies and leakers inside Iran. The Times stressed that there are those in the intelligence communities who believe Mojtaba was killed as early as February 28th or died of his wounds sometime afterwards, and that the Revolutionary Guards are lying about his survival. Thus, the two intelligence agencies are trying to obtain confirmation of whether Mojtaba was killed at the start of the war, and if he survived, whether he's hiding in one of the underground tunnels in Tehran or in the military bunker near the city of Qom, about 50 kilometers from the capital. Now, I think that instead of just covertly trying to locate him, there's a political value, there's a value, strategic value in the war. Call it out in public, say that you're demanding that he show himself or provide some sort of proof of life, and then watch the Iranians squirm. Sow more doubt in the minds of Iranians that he's still alive. This will cause instability. All right, I digress again. The British newspaper claimed that the Mossad, with its network of agents in Iran, most of them oppressed citizens and regime opponents, is focused on the question of Mojtaba's survival and his hiding place. Rami Igra, former head of the Mossad's Captives and Missing Persons Division, told the Times that Mojtaba may not be using a phone, but if he is still alive at all, then he has other forms of communication, such as messages on paper notes, which are passed through several layers of couriers. If the Mossad finds Mojtaba, it will be because of the human element, but the regime in Tehran is aware of that danger. The newspaper noted that al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden was located in the same way. When the CIA tracked one of the couriers who delivered messages to him, the only way to reach Mojtaba will be to recruit an agent who is in contact with him. That's what That's what Rami Igra said. The Times also quoted another former senior Mossad official, Avner Avraham, who claimed that in addition to the heavy isolation in which the younger Khamenei lives, the Ayatollah's regime is also concealing his location through the use of doubles. Regarding the dilemma that would arise in the political systems in the US and Israel if and when Mojtaba is located, a former senior American intelligence official quipped, "I think we have eliminated enough Iranian leaders recently, unless there is very high confidence that Mojtaba will be replaced by a leader who believes in a democratic future for Iran and arrives riding on a white horse." In other words, we don't really have a need to get rid of him. And this is the reason why I believe that he is not functioning or dead. Like when they claimed that the reason he didn't come to the funeral was for security reasons, the head of the IRGC came to the funeral. And it was pretty clear that Trump was not going to carry out any attacks during that funeral. And the Israelis weren't carrying out any attacks during that funeral. They weren't going to kill a whole bunch of civilians. It's not something they were going to do. I don't think that anyone realistically thought that had he attended the funeral, he would have been killed at the funeral. Again, of course, he could have sent a video, but so I'm not. Maybe they want, obviously they're looking for him, but do they want to kill him? What would they gain? I guess. And if the gain is to destabilize the regime, this is what I'm saying. You could accomplish close to that exact same result by demanding proof of his being functional, or all negotiations are off. Demand it of the mediators. Say that we're not talking to any of you. We want proof the guy's alive. If he's the one making the decisions, we want to know where he is. And then we have this from First Post. It just adds a few more details, maybe. CIA Mossad hunt for Mojtaba Khamenei as Iran's supreme leader vanishes into thin air. American and Israeli intelligence agencies have launched a high-priority operation to locate him. And then they just add in here, intelligence analysts believe that he could be operating from a bunker, and they believe that he has decoys. It has fueled physical speculation about his physical condition. While U.S. intelligence has reportedly assessed that Mojtaba is alive and functioning, interesting, they do believe that, rumors have circulated that he may have suffered serious injuries. Questions grew after he skipped Iran's traditional Nowruz New Year address in March, instead issuing a short written message on Telegram. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has said he met with the supreme leader personally, but Western intelligence agencies remain uncertain about that. Now, let's get to Iranian state media. Why has no audio? This is from Iranian state media yesterday. So they're now hearing the chatter. They're hearing the chatter about everyone wondering what's going on with Mojtaba, and I think this is good. I said this last week. I think it's good. The more chatter there is asking, where's Mojtaba, the more pressure it puts, the more doubt, again, where I'm coming from, sow doubt in the minds of Iranians so that they start, because that really will produce instability. Why has no audio recording been released? Security considerations and advances in audio analysis technology are among the main factors cited as reasons why no audio recording of Iran's third supreme leader has so far been released publicly. Acoustic characteristics of the environment and the geometry of a room are among the first elements that can provide valuable information to analysts. By examining sound reflections and the time it takes for energy levels to decline, it is possible to estimate the dimensions and features of the location where a recording was made. Analysis of power grid frequencies is also considered another method used to identify the time and location of a recording. By matching power fluctuations with recorded data, analysts can determine the exact date, time, and even specific section of an electricity network where a recording may have been made. Now, if anyone watching this knows anything about this, I'd like to see in the comments what you have to say. How accurate is this information? Meanwhile, audio spectrography and the hardware signature of recording devices are also significant factors. Each microphone or recording device produces unique audio characteristics that can function like a fingerprint, helping identify the equipment used. Background noises, including sounds from ventilation systems, generators, or cooling equipment, especially if you're in an underground bunker, can also provide clues about the technical specifications of the recording environment. In addition, voice biometric technologies can analyze features such as vocal tract resonance, formant frequencies, don't know what that is, breathing patterns, and pauses during speech to extract information about a speaker's physical characteristics, health condition, heart rate, and stress levels. This is all very, very strange. Again, I don't believe they even want to kill him, but here we are. Now, we also have this story, also from yesterday, because of all the chatter. No negotiations have ever taken place without the Supreme Leader's authorization. It's like, it's a great headline. We're insisting that there's never been a negotiation without his authorization. Former Iranian Foreign Minister Manoucher Mottaki said that no negotiations with the United States have ever taken place without the authorization of Iran's Supreme Leader, adding that any future talks should be conditioned on Washington taking 4 concrete steps. And it was very strange to identify the 4. They don't really list them. They just keep talking. Mottaki said that Iran should make any negotiations with the United States contingent on the U.S. first taking 4 practical measures. He argued that exchanging indirect messages is ineffective and only increases uncertainty on the other side. He also warned that Washington is seeking to create multiple distractions to keep Iran occupied, stressing that Tehran should remain vigilant and avoid being drawn into such strategies. I don't know what he's talking about. Referring to regional mediation efforts, Mottaki said Qatar should feel responsible for its commitments. Let's go down to the stuff about Mojtaba. Here we go. Mottaki emphasized, both during the era of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and under the current leadership of Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei, no negotiations have taken place without the Supreme Leader's approval. He added that authorization for negotiations is one issue, while managing and conducting those negotiations is another, stressing that Iran's foreign policy decisions should be guided by the principles of dignity, wisdom, and expediency, and made only after considering all relevant factors. So there's nothing really in this story except this insistence that he is the one authorizing all the negotiations, which is why the U.S. should use this as a pretext to say, okay, if that's the case, we want to see proof that he's actually alive and functioning. And finally, look at this cute little story from Tasnim. This is the IRGC's mouthpiece. This is from 3 days ago. Russian patriarch praises message from Ayatollah Khamenei. Look at that. Patriarch Kirill of Moscow thanked leader of the Islamic Revolution Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei for his message, expressing hope for peace and security in the region and voicing support for closer religious and cultural cooperation between Iran and Russia. Iran's ambassador to Russia, Kazem Jalali, met Patriarch Kirill, at his official residence in Moscow, where he delivered a message from Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei in response to the Patriarch's earlier letters offering condolences on the martyrdom of the previous Ayatollah. The head of the Russian Orthodox Church thanked the leader for his valuable message and said the close ties between Iran and Russia provide a good opportunity for dialogue and bilateral relations. Patriarch Kirill also expressed deep sorrow over the suffering of people in different parts of the world, including the hardships endured by the Iranian people, saying he prays for peace and security in the region and for the health and steadfastness of the Iranian nation. The Iranian people's hardship is a result of the regime, of course. He highlighted the ongoing dialogue between the Russian Orthodox Church and Iran's Islamic denominations through the 2 countries' joint commissions, saying Russian Christians enjoy good relations with Iran's Muslim community. The Patriarch noted that the Russian Orthodox Church and Iranian Muslims share similar views on moral issues, the role of religion in daily life, and the importance of family values, while lamenting the erosion of ethics and the family institution in some countries. He also emphasized the importance of expanding religious, academic, and scientific cooperation between Iran and Russia, referring to the delegation sent by the Russian Orthodox Church to attend the farewell and funeral ceremonies of the Ayatollah. Patriarch Kirill said its members had reported receiving a warm welcome from both Iranian officials and ordinary citizens, describing it as a sign of the closeness between Iran and Russia and between followers of Islam and Christianity. So, lovey-dovey between Iran and Russia, and thank you to the Ayatollah for his message of support. So Mojtaba, they're trying to prop up the idea that Mojtaba is still a significant figure. He's still, no negotiations with his authorization. He's sending warm greetings letters to the Russian Orthodox Church. And then we have this strange story about the technology the technological reasons why he has not released an audio message, like they're specifically because okay, no video, why no audio? Now they're saying that the more talk about this, the better. The more speculation is better. The more speculation there can be, the more doubt that can be sown among the Iranian people about him being alive and functioning is better. It's all part of destabilizing the regime. Okay, that's what I wanted to go through in this video. A little shorter than usual, but no one's ever going to complain about that. Again, I'm just, this is a story I'm tracking because I think it's actually a critical piece. I'm happy to see more talk about it. For a long time, no one was bringing it up, and I think it actually does matter when we think about the ingredients that are all of the ingredients in what brings down the regime. It's not about bombing the next bridge. It's about creating the conditions within Iranian society that show the regime to be illegitimate, that show the regime to be unstable, that create instability at the highest levels of the regime. If it's ever revealed, as Dr. David Wormser has said numerous times in conversations with me, and you should make sure to go to Israel 365 News and catch those conversations. We uploaded another one yesterday, a fantastic conversation. He's emphasized this many times that if there's chaos at the top, if it ever comes out, his take on the Mojtaba thing is that if it ever comes out that Mojtaba is not functioning or is dead, then there will be infighting at the top between the various factions, and that infighting it'll have a double effect. You'll have the instability in the street because, oh my gosh, there's no Ayatollah, there's no supreme leader, and that undermines and delegitimizes the regime itself. But then you'll also have instability at the top. It's not just in the street, but you'll have instability at the top because who succeeds him? Mojtaba was an easy choice. He was the son of Ali Khamenei. He was named as a successor. Easy enough. Sort of holds things together. But if he's not the one, then there's all these different factions who are going to be stabbing each other in the back amidst all the rest of the chaos. So that's why he's kind of like the knot holding the whole thing together from unraveling. And that's why I think it is actually a significant strategic win if the United States presses the bet here, presses the point, and insists on evidence that Mojtaba is alive and functioning. I think it would actually be a very shrewd and valuable move. All right. Let me know your thoughts in the comments of this video. I do read a lot of the comments, and I appreciate all of them. And I want to thank you all once again for all of the support and in sharing and liking and subscribing and helping grow this channel. It's really been amazing, and it really shows me that that what we're doing here is important, and it gives me a lot of encouragement. And God bless you all for it. Thank you.